Hey, autoimmune warriors, welcome to the Stronger Than Autoimmune podcast. I am so fired up for you to be here. If you're navigating life with an autoimmune condition, you're in the right place. I am your host, Des, and I am not just a podcaster. I am right here in the trenches with you as a fellow autoimmune warrior. We're diving into real, uplifting stories and some seriously smart expert tips and simple lifestyle tweaks that can make a difference in how we feel day to day. Now I've got to give a huge shout out to my amazing listeners. You're the heartbeat of this podcast, and I'm so grateful for you tuning in. If you're loving the vibes, here is how you can keep the love flowing. Drop a rating on Spotify. Share a quick review on Apple, or pass this episode along to a warrior buddy who can use a boost of hope. Here are some patients that are killing it for our community. Workers with Autoimmune Ailments Alliance. These folks are fighting the good fight for students and workers like us with autoimmune conditions. Want to get involved or learn more? Swing by WAAA.org. They'll love to have you. Leap Cure. They're all about hooking up patients with cutting-edge clinical trials and putting our voices front and center. Check them out at leapcure.com. Adapt Naturals by Chris Kresser. They offer nutrient-packed supplements based on science. Snag 20% off your first order with my code DEZ, D-E-Z, at Adapt Naturals. From my heart to yours, I'm sending you nothing but love and good vibes. Let's dive in together.
Hi, everyone. I am thrilled to introduce Dr. Nayan Patel on the Stronger Than Autoimmune podcast. He is a rock star pharmacist and wellness expert who's been teaming up with doctors since 97, that's 1997, guys, to create custom meds and nutrition plans for everyone from celebs to CEOs. Dr. Patel's book, The Glutathione Revolution, dives into the power of glutathione, the ultimate antioxidant for fighting disease, slowing aging, and boosting energy. He's the world's go-to unabsorbable glutathione, holding the only patent for transdermal form. A USC School of Pharmacy alum and adjunct faculty, he's passionate about empowering our bodies to thrive. Plus, he's a devoted dad, husband, and son on a mission to heal the world. So thank you so much for joining me on the Stronger Than Autoimmune podcast, Dr. Patel.
Thank you so much for having me here today. So first of all, people should understand that the glutathione is the most abundant molecule produced in human body. And so if it's something so abundant, we should know about everything about it as much as possible, because the body does not make anything extra whatsoever, right? There's no spare parts in our body. Whatever it does, we have to understand about what it is. And so understanding that has took me to a whole different rabbit hole, but I'll break it down for the audience for a little bit simpler terms. Today we know about peptides. Peptides are basically chain of amino acids, either small or really, really large, and that chain of amino acid becomes a peptide. The simplest form of peptide, which is a 3 amino acid chain peptide, is what glutathione is. And so the 3 amino acids like glycine, glutamine, and cysteine coming together, forming this magical peptide that has a tremendous healing capacity in our body. That term is called glutathione. We don't name all the peptides, but we have named quite a few of those that I have identified that has some capacity in healing of a body.
Wow. So I like how you started. The body does not make anything extra. If this is the major antioxidant, that means we really do need it. And how does the body naturally produce glutathione? What are everyday factors like diet, stress that mess with our levels?
So production of glutathione happens every single in our body. I don't care if you're a 1-day-old child or a 101-year-old person. Doesn't really matter. your body has a capacity to produce enough glutathione for daily usages as long as our needs are within the normal needs, right? So to produce glutathione, we need the basic components, right? Three amino acids, glycine, glutamine, cysteine, three amino acids. We have two enzymes to put those three amino acids together. We need to have energy source. So ATP, which is the mitochondrial energy, is necessary to put these pieces together. And of course, we have to do some electron transfers. It's a chemical process. And for that, we need NAD as one of those molecules for electron transfer. So if we have all these components, the body can produce enough glutathione until the last day on this planet for us.
Can you share some benefits of glutathione, especially because you mentioned ATP, for energy and wellness?
So we never learn the full capacity our glutathione can do in our body. We can only learn from when you don't have it, right? If you don't have something, then you quickly find out and say, "Oh my God, I have all these diseases." But then sometimes you have glutathione and you still have the disease. So then it's well, wait a second, what happened there? And so understanding glutathione has to do two parts. One is you should know what happens when you don't have enough, and you should know what happens if you do have it and your body cannot produce enough. And all those things are very, very critical. So the two things that we do know about it is that one, it has the capacity to quench free radicals. It's an electronic charge, oxygen or nitrogen molecules inside a body that brings all kinds of damage to the body that has to be neutralized. The electric charge has to be taken away and make it neutralize them, and glutathione aids in the process of doing so. So that's why it's called the master antioxidant, because it neutralizes all the charged molecules, whether it's from outside sources like you breathe oxygen, or it's from internally that all the chemical reaction processes makes this byproducts that are also called free radicals. So that's one thing, and that's what it's known for. The second part, which is equally as important, is that it helps your liver get rid of all the chemicals that has been trying to detoxify from your body with, right? So as soon as you wake up, you're exposing yourself to 70 different chemicals. Those 70 chemicals have to be processed and get rid of it. Because if you don't, then the body will accumulate, and when the body accumulates, it basically starts damaging your body from inside out. And so glutathione, it aids the conjugation pathways of helping the liver get rid of all these chemicals. It could be chemicals, could be heavy metals, could be anything that your body is exposed to on a daily basis. So that's a major thing. Now imagine if your body cannot get rid of all the oxidation, and if you cannot get rid of all the chemicals, your imagines can go wild as to what it can do to your body, from heart disease to cancers to autoimmune conditions to metabolic disorders to infections, and the list goes on and on and on. So when you ask me a question, what it does do for you, I said, well, it's like
What does it
asking,
not?
exactly, it's like asking a question, what do moms do? I said, oh no, they only do one thing. Really? Really? That's why it's called mother of all antioxidants, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for explaining that. I love the analogy because I think, well, most people that have autoimmune disease are women, and they usually get it, around 30s, 40s. Most of the people listening have some type of, they're a caregiver to somebody or have children. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Especially people in their 40s, they're taking care of their parents, or they're taking care of their children, or both, unfortunately. So, and I'm not unfortunately, but I think it's more of, sometimes you are so dispersed on your energy that you don't really have time to really take care of yourself. And having somebody like you give us this information on how we can increase our energy and help our bodies more is really going to bring us up to a different level, especially people that have autoimmune disease. So thank you.
Absolutely, and we can dive more detail into it as to why it's happening at the age of 35 and 40, and not when you're 20, 25, because that is the hallmark for what glutathione is. Because when you're young, your body's producing enough of it. You have not developed any bad habits yet. Uh, yes, you're indulging yourself on some ice creams and chocolates and junk foods and not doing the right things. And so you turn 21, start drinking a little bit of alcohol. Hopefully not. People do. And all those habits starts accumulating toxicity in your body. It the whole thing starts at the age of 30. 30 is the magic year ish, like 30, 28, 32, something along those lines. That for the very first time, your body's ability to produce glutathione and your actual needs, there's a discrepancy. You have more needs than your body can produce glutathione. Now, this discrepancy is not big enough to have any impact on your body yet, right? But it's enough to what we call as oxidative stress, right? Oxidation happens every single day because you breathe oxygen. So your oxygen is coming to your body. It's the energy source. You need the oxygen. Stop breathing for a few minutes and you'll understand why it's so important, right? So it is important to your body, but oxidative stress is what your body cannot neutralize all the oxygen that you breathe in. So when that stress happens, it's a small enough stress. Your body can say, you know what, I can handle this thing. But the thing is, what happens is that we as a human beings don't change. Our behaviors does not change. We are the same old habit over and over and over again. If something doesn't kill us, let's do it more, right? And so just keep on doing it. We just stack on all those bad behaviors, and then you kid yourself and said, it's okay to have a drink once a week. It's okay to have, oh man, I've been healthy all month long. Can I have one cheat day? Or can I have one of these days or a week or a day or a month or whatever that is, right? People tend to rationalize the bad behaviors. In reality is that the body does not need a single day of bad behaviors in your whole life, right? Because it has to deal with it. It has to deal with it. So that oxidative stress, starting at the age of 30, starts getting increasing and increasing and increasing. It got to a point that it started developing some sort of metabolic markers, abnormalities in your body. Something starts changing, and eventually the body says, "Hey, I cannot adjust enough to keep you under control." And when your body loses the control on how the body behaves, that's when the onset of diseases comes in. It could be metabolic disorders, could be autoimmune conditions, could be heart disease, could be diabetes, could be anything. But that's the early onset of disease that comes in. When you go to see a doctor, the doctor will tell you that, hey, you know what? Watch out, because this is going to end up causing any major issues in the future. But they don't give you any solution.
That's true.
Watch out. Watch what? Right? Watch your diet, watch your exercise routine, or walk 30 minutes a day. But what in reality, the issue is you need a complete 360-degree overhaul on your behaviors, because you have created your whole existence around, oh, every Friday night I meet with my girlfriends and we have a get together. What do you do? I said, well, we just chit chat and we'll have a little bit of drinks. I'm not the healthiest that day because it's more important for me to connect to people than to worry about my food and my diet, right? And so everybody has created these rituals or uh, this behaviors that you cannot change. And so that thing starts accumulating over time, right? And eventually it's going to break the body's defense system, and now you have to deal with some diseases, and you go to the pharmacy or to the doctors and hopefully that some pills are going to help you. And I'm telling you, I'm a pharmacist. I fill prescriptions all day long, and I'm telling you today, there are no pills in the world that's going to save you from going back to homeostasis or going back to what you were 20 at the age of 21.
Hmm.
So don't rely on the pills, please.
Yeah, I like how you said habits and you said rituals. I mean, those are things that you do every day, and those are things that you do on a weekly, regular, monthly basis. And they all affect you, like you said. It gives you, affects your homeostasis. So, for those of people that aren't familiar with that term, can you kind of break that down?
So homeostasis is basically coming back everything back to normal. So let's see, uh, have when you have a nails, the nails are completely steel nails, they're perfectly fine, but you leave it outside in the environment and something water gets on it, and within a day or two starts rusting, right? Once it gets the rust, can you ever get rid of the rust? No,
Well,
you can scrape it off,
kinda.
you scrape it off, you paint over it, but inside the rust is still there. Never get rid of it. Okay? So the rust is happening because of oxygen. It's called oxidation. You're breathing oxygen every single day, right? So oxidation is happening every single second inside your body, right? But the body, what it does is oxygen comes in, it uses the energy, all the excess oxygen is getting neutralized by glutathione, and when it gets neutralized is happening, everything goes back to normal, like there was no problem whatsoever. Now you can see some nails; they are there good for 50 years because it's been processed and it's been nurtured and it's been cleaned up on on a regular basis, or it's not exposed to the environment or whatever, right? You can still have those things happening in our life. So you can have that, and when your body is exposed to toxicities or oxidation, and your ability to bring it back to normal is what we call is everything is going back to normal is homeostasis, right? When something is out of range, that's when the whole thing breaks loose. And once it starts breaking loose at a very minor amount, it is negligible. You don't even notice what you have adjusted to. It's not until 10, 15, 20, 30 years later you figure out, oh my God, I remember this injury when I was in my mid 20s, and I'm 55 or 60 years today, and I'm still paying the price for that one little mistake I made 30 years ago, right?
That's amazing. And thank you for giving us something to really refer to, analogy on the nail, because we know what they look like. With you, you have the knowledge and the background, and you know what happens inside our bodies, and we just always see the exterior. Obviously, we see gray hair, we see wrinkles, but we don't see what's actually happening inside. So having that visual really helps the listeners know what's going on. And I know you mentioned, everything starts adding up. So what does stress and inflammation do, and for or how do they affect glutathione, or the opposite? How does glutathione help with stress and autoimmune flares?
Absolutely. It can go either way. So let's talk about stresses first. Because when people talk about stress, they always talk about mental stress. I have no stress. I said, well, that's mental stress. That's the endocrine system, which is regulates your hormones, your pituitary, your brain functions, your gonadal hormones, your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, your adrenal glands. All those things is what we call as mental stress issues. Uh, that's good that you want to maintain those because that really affects your it affects your mood, it affects who you are as a person, it affects how you live your life, and it affects your behaviors, right? So it's a great thing that you're aware of those things. But when it comes to glutathione, I'm talking about oxidative stress, which is internal stress that your body is getting affected because the body is needs to keep everything neutral at all times. And so making sure that we understand that there are two different types of stressors.
True.
Either both the stressors, if they're out of control, can cause problems. The problems could be when it comes to oxidative stress, it can cause inflammation. So does mental stress causes inflammation. Okay, so either way, they both causes inflammation because inflammation is what the body's defense system is. Hey, there's something's wrong. I can pinpoint what's wrong. Let me send some markers out there. Say, hey, can you go find out what's wrong with you? So it gets inflammation. If it's inflammation on your knees or your ankles or your joints, you can see it right away because you can feel it because something's not moving. What if your heart's inflamed, your kidneys are inflamed, your lungs are inflamed? You don't see those parts. How about your arteries are getting inflamed? You don't see those parts. That's a low grade inflammation that happens every single day of your life, and you don't notice that part until what? Until you get high blood pressure, until you have prostate issues or breast issues or kidney issues and so on and so forth. And people say that, oh, something's getting constricted. So how's it getting constricted? Oh, because there's inflammation. Where's the inflammation coming from? Oh, I don't know, right? And so the body has to bring this inflammation down on a regular basis. You cannot be chasing a ghost, especially when it comes to autoimmune. What is autoimmune? It's chasing a ghost. They don't know what's wrong with you, right? The body's figuring out, I cannot figure out what's wrong. But so I'm inflaming the whole body. So there has to be something inside the body that's causing this problem. Let me go find it, right? So it's deploying all this defense system inside your body. And because of this deployment of defense system, your whole body's inflamed. That's autoimmune, right? And I mean, putting it in simplest terms, then most of the doctors, if your audience is doctors, they're going to kill me. I say, what are you talking about? That is such a simple terms. It's much more complex than this. And I'm telling you, we don't have to make life very complex because 99% of the people are not doctors. They're human beings. They need to understand simple terms. And so, what can I do to help myself today and bring this inflammation down? And all I can tell you is that try to get rid of everything in your life that you put into your body that does not belong into your body in your first place. Simply say it.
So it sounds like really increasing glutathione is going to help with these stressors, mental, physical, whatever you put into our body. How does it help with energy? Like if
So glutathione, please don't think glutathione is a magic drug or this miracle that everybody should be on it or they should be looking into it. Yes, it is good that people should look into that part, but glutathione by itself, it only makes your body stronger to deal with its own problems. It itself does not do much other than two things, as I said earlier: antioxidants and removing garbage out of your liver. But by doing so, guess what? The body becomes more efficient. I said, okay, you know what? Think about it. When you're young, you can still fall down and get up the same right away and no problems, right? The body just heals so fast. Our body says, you know what? I can deal with this problem. The same person at the age of 70 falls down. Oh my God. I hope I don't break a hip bone, or I hope I can get up. Or even if they do get up, oh my goodness, it's a workout to just get up if they fall down. And so what glutathione does, it allows your body to get up faster. It allows because it's removing all this junk out of the system. And but when the junk is removed, the body can rejuvenate, regenerate, produce new cells, new tissues, new organs for us. And by the way, just keep in mind, our body is regenerating, rejuvenating every single day until you die. Right? Get a cut and you'll know it'll heal by itself. Band-Aid's not going to heal it. The body heals by itself. That means the body is producing new tissues, new organs, new cells to come deal with its own problems. So the body's constantly doing that. But instead of doing that work, we're removing toxic chemicals, alcohols, smoke. If you smoke cigarettes and consuming all these heavy metals, the body is
microplastics, that's the new thing now.
it's huge. PF 25s, people that have burnt candles or fire in the house or have gas stoves in the house and has producing all this process of combustion that you're inhaling all the time. All this stuff has to be get rid of it from your body. So instead of allowing the body to heal, what's the body doing? Constantly removing the toxic chemicals outside your body.
Yeah.
So yes, the
Trying to
glutathione
catch up all the time.
catch up all the time. And eventually, if you don't have enough substances, if you don't have if you don't have the three amino acids, or your mitochondrial energy is reduced, guess what? You cannot produce enough glutathione. So the gap gets wider, double the time, right? And in a very short amount of time, it just doubles and doubles and doubles to a point that your body says, I can't take it anymore, right? And so the glutathione by itself, it's it's the answer to help keep your body clean. But if you say, is it for disease management? No, the body will take care of its own diseases. That's not the problem. The issue is there's too much other things the body has to do that needs help. So if you get rid of that portion, like for example, in my house, if my wife wants to do every single thing, if there's a helper to her doing all the nitty gritty stuff, I said, hey, clean the floors, clean the bathrooms and the kitchens and all those things. She can be so much more efficient in taking care of the kids and her personal needs and all those things, right? And so the whole house runs efficiently
And happier.
and happier. We want for our own body. Body doesn't want to remove garbage all the time. So there's better things to do in life is to rebuild. But you cannot do that until you clean all the chemicals out of your body. So you don't have enough glutathione to do all this other dirty work so the body can focus on all the good things because nobody else can do that part besides your own body. There's no drugs that can rebuild tissues.
Yeah.
We need the body to do it itself.
I love that. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for creating those analogies that help bring light to or help us really understand because it's a complicated, this is science. This is not easy to understand. You're breaking it down so easily. As
Well,
far as, oh, go
when
ahead.
you just want to make sure, when you come to autoimmune,
Hmm.
I would say most of the doctors are clueless as to what the cause is in the first place, right? And so if you do not know what the cause is, how can they treat you? If they don't know what's broken, how can they fix it? Only thing the solution they're providing is that hey, if you lower your immune system down, then you won't have the flare-ups. Or if you cannot think about it, then it doesn't exist. No, it's not true. It is not true, right? And so medications, because I fill prescriptions for all these autoimmune conditions from Humira to Ambrose and all those medications all the time, and I know what it does. And it's not healing the body. It is just getting further away from the healing and more into okay, go live your life, whatever life is left for you. I said, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah. I was wondering, I know you mentioned um, it helps the liver detox, glutathione. And the big thing everybody's talking about is about gut health. So, how does glutathione and the liver, how does it support the gut and or help the gut um, empty everything out that you don't need?
So the whole when people talk about gut-brain connections, the whole immune system starts with the gut, is because your stomach is actually the first line of defense in trying to neutralize or remove all the toxic chemicals that you just ate or you consumed, right? So for that purposes, your body produces enough acid. The stomach lining is completely sealed up. It produces so much acid, it just burns everything off, right? Whatever's left over, the body has to somehow process it and make something out of it. The the stomach lining is most adults because of the foods we eat are all ultra processed foods. There's a gap in the lining. There's a break in over there. This break is there are food particles, chemicals stuck in those linings that your body cannot get to it. And because of that, the body senses there's something wrong in your body, but don't know what to do with it, how to deal with it, other than causing inflammation, right? So glutathione, all it's doing is that instead of trying to figure out what that is getting rid of all the known products that we already know that needs to be get rid of it as fast as possible. Help me do that part so the body can focus on where the issues are. By the way, glutathione is an amazing product to even help with gut health. So there's numerous studies have been done to show that the gut health improves with just the help of glutathione. Well, one of the components of glutathione, which is glutamine, is amazing to help with the gut lining. So it's by itself, it's an amazing product for that. In fact, if you take too much of glutathione, and if your body cannot handle it, you will get stomach cramps and diarrhea. I mean, the body will start to release all the toxicity out of your stomach, and you make a diarrhea from it as well. So if that happens, of course, you got too much of glutathione, the body is releasing all the toxic load outside your body as fast as possible.
Speaking of glutathione and having too much, I know you personally created this transdermal glutathione because from what I understand that if you take the pills or you take glutamine, it's not I mean, especially with people that have autoimmune disease, their gut is, like we just mentioned, it is wrecked. So, and I know there's liposomal
Liposomal.
glutathione. Yeah, could you talk about how those aren't as efficient, especially for people that have autoimmune diseases?
I'm assuming you eat proteins every single day.
Hmm.
Do you eat animal proteins every day?
I do.
You do. Okay. So you eat animal proteins. When you eat animal proteins, is this the same protein that humans have? No. No, they don't, right? So what do you do? So what does the body does? When you eat proteins, the body will break it down. The whole proteins gets broken down, and the only thing the body needs is amino acids. The body will take the amino acids and use the amino acids to make its own peptides, proteins, whatever it needs, right? The body does not need ready-made proteins. The body wants building blocks. And with the building blocks, it can create its own proteins that the body needs. Okay? Why am I telling this story? Glutathione it's a tri-amino acid chain peptide. Peptides, proteins, they're all similar. The body does not absorb peptides. Let me repeat one more time because people are taking peptides like the shots for the weight loss all the time. It's just because it's working for you doesn't mean you don't know how it's working for you. So that way you can make better choices in your life, right? Peptides and proteins, your body does not absorb any one of them. It'll break it down into amino acids, absorb the amino acids, and that's what it's being used to make its own proteins and peptides. Same thing with glutathione. Glutathione, if you take any technology product, I don't care if it's the liposome technology products, oral capsule, inhaled solutions, suppositories, injections, even if you inject it straight into your veins, all this, the body will absolutely break everything down, absorb the molecule which is cysteine out of it. Cysteine gets inside your cells, and inside your cells, it makes into this peptide again. So that's how it's done. The issue is, what if your needs are so high that you'll never be able to meet up with the demand? For example, I'll give money examples because money is what people want all the time. Let's say you can work really, really hard and make $10,000 per month, right? And you do. You work really hard and you make $10,000 per month. But guess what? Your expenses are about $10,000 a month as well. So I said, okay, I'm good. I have my expenses. I can make my expenses. I work hard, and I'm done. And then all of a sudden, something happens to you. You got an injury. You got autoimmune, and all of a sudden, your needs have increased now. Now, instead of $10,000, I need $20,000 because I need to have medical expenses. I have other things to do in my life. But then you have autoimmune conditions, but you cannot work as hard as before now. So instead of working harder now, we can only work less. There you go. Now you got a problem. You cannot work hard enough. Your needs have doubled, but you cannot work hard enough. Let's say you had no diseases whatsoever, and you can work double the shifts. Instead of working 8 hours a day, now you're working 16 hours a day. Right? Great. You still meet up with your needs, right? Because you're still under 30. Because once you get over 30, I'm 30 is a magic number. I'm just to give an example. That's the number I'm saying that your body's ability to produce glutathione is cannot meet up with the demands. Because what happens if the demand is even gone more than 16 hours per day of work? Your demands have gone from $20,000 a month to $30,000 a month now. Your body cannot produce enough because you can't work hard enough, right? So for those people, by just giving you more jobs is not going to make you more money, right? People say, I have plenty of jobs. I just can't work that much anymore. So can I get the money instead? So some people, well, most people, they'll rather take the glutathione itself instead of taking the building blocks and allowing the body to produce it on its own. And so 140 years we have known about glutathione. There was no technology that existed to deliver glutathione intracellularly completely intact without having to, the body needs to make it again. And most people with any kinds of diseases, they may have the ability to produce glutathione. The needs are so high, they're never able to meet the demands. They never do. And so having something like this to deliver intracellular for the first time, allowing the body to now start eliminate toxicity and chemicals and then allowing the body to heal, it's a game changer, right? And so when we first discovered this molecule in 2007, I started giving to one of my patients and about these things. I said, what is this? This is absolutely amazing. How much to give? I said, well, I don't know. I said, well, let's start studying it out. So for the first 14 years, I was doing all kinds of studies on it. How much to give? How often to give? How long can I give it to? What kind of results I'm going to get? Am I going to get any side effects from this? I had all these questions and I had no answers for any one of those because this molecule, the way it was created, was something unique in the whole world. Nobody in the world had it, and there was no paper, no article published on this molecule the way it was created. And so I had to redo all that work on my own. And when I did that part, I found out is that the needs are very, very small. We don't need that much glutathione. But we do need consistent of levels all the time because body gets used up all the time, right? It's not like, hey, I gave you $100,000 now, go on your own for 10,000 for
Good
10
luck.
more months, right? No, I need the steady state amount on a regular basis. You know why? The body does not have storage capacity to store all this excess products. You cannot drink water 10 gallons on a Monday morning and assume it's going to last you till Sunday night. No, you got to drink a small amount every single day. There's no storage. We don't have warehouses inside our body. So you got to give what the body needs on a regular basis at small intervals, when the body needs are. And if you keep on doing that part, the body will start healing on its own. And the magic happens. The magic really happens over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of continuous usage of glutathione, and then that's when you see the body is healing from inside, and you wonder, I said, oh my god, this is how I felt when I was in my 20s, right? And I don't care, you could be in your 60s today. My dad had arthritis for almost 35 to 40 years, and in his 80s he was walking 6 miles per day with no deformities or nothing and had no pain.
Wow.
So that's doable. You can heal the body even in the mid 80s, right?
That's
That's how
amazing.
that's how resilient the body is.
That's amazing. Giving everybody so much hope. So you patent just transdermal glutathione. Could you explain what transdermal means?
Sure, it's topical, but it's unfortunate it's topical because my goal was not to have a topical product. It's just very hard to take, right? My goal is to take something orally. But when I made the product in a liquid solution, I took it with the mouth. It tastes awful, by the way, but people get over the taste all the time too if it works. But it did not work for me. So I said, okay, it was breaking it down, right? So I was breaking it apart. Then I squirted my nose. If I do a nose spray, I put it in my nose, and the nose, the mucosal membrane, it was burning my nose membrane. It was, this is not going to be good for long term. Maybe people may do it for once in a while if it's absolutely necessary, but this is not something that you do it for every single day of your life, especially not for more than a month. forget 5 years. So the only route left for me was a topical route. And the topically, we have two problems. One, the skin is a physical barrier. Size has to be really, really small to get to the cracks of your skin. Really small, right? And then nothing like exists that small. So I had to create a molecule to basically twist the glutathione into such a small thing that can get to the cracks of your skin. That was my first thing. The other choice was uh, to use something to have passive diffusion, where you put it on the top of the skin, and the fat absorbs a little bit slowly get inside your body. That's how all the creams work, by the way, right? And it's you're at the mercy of your body to take it. And glutathione is such a large molecule, it will never get through it, never ever, right? So that was not the option. So I had to get the particle size small enough. When I got that one done, the second problem arises when the cell membrane inside your body is a chemical barrier, right? I don't care what the size is; it will never get into this membrane based on size. It has to be based on lock and key, right? So this is a lock. I'd rather have the right key. What does the cell needs? Sugar, carbohydrates to produce energy. So what I did was there was some cyclic sugars I took. I already reduced the particle size to very, very small, and they were fitting inside the small cyclic sugars. When I did that, guess what? Outside is sugar, inside is glutathione, went through the skin, go to the cell membrane. Cell membrane says, oh, I can suck it up. I need the sugar. And inside was glutathione. So for the very first time, we were able to deliver through a Trojan horse inside your cells, and the glutathione. Of course, once it gets inside, the body can spit it out. But body says, "Oh, I can use this product. I like this product." So that's how we first discovered it, and it was. Now it sounds so simple. Oh my God, that's so easy. Just do this thing, right? It's so easy to do that part. But creating that initial concept was extremely difficult for us. And now that we talk about it, it's like, okay, yeah, anybody should take it now. It's easy. But the simplicity of the molecule is what scares the heck out of me. It is extremely simple. There's no other chemicals inside besides two or three ingredients inside. It's very, very simple things. But the effects on your body is mind-boggling. It is more powerful than any medication on this planet today, right? Because it is empowering your own body to fight its own problems, right? So that to me is more valuable than finding a pill that's going to temporarily relieve a problem for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Uh, I can't even imagine how many barriers it took to figure out those two ways to get into the system, to get into the body, because you have the skin, like you said, and then the chemical barrier to get into, get actually used. So, yes, I know since you are a pharmacist and you work with a lot of immune suppressive medications, how does glutathione help work with these people that still want to take these medications or have to take these medications?
Glutathione is not going to replace any of the medications whatsoever. So that's not the focus for glutathione. Is the focus for glutathione is to strengthen your body's own systems so the body can start dealing with its own problems. And when the body deals with the problem, it's way better than any medication in the world is, right? So when you talk about autoimmune or inflammation or in those things, so we did a human trial. One of the universities in California, the professors over there say, hey, you know what? If I think I like this product, let me do a small study. So he took 30 patients, and he took the blood, he applied the glutathione, took the blood out, and infected the blood with infection of mycobacterium. Now, mycobacterium has no cure for it today. So it was interesting to see what the body will do. Within 4 hours, what they found out was the the oxidative stress marker in the blood with the glutathione dropped. Okay, so the oxidative stress was dropping. So that was a good sign. So when the oxidative stress drops, the body says that there's not enough stress for me, even though it was infected, right? The levels dropped of oxidative stress. When those levels dropped, the body was able to deploy all the immune markers, the IL-2, IL-12, interferon gamma, TNF alpha. These are all the cytokines of the immune markers. They are deployed by the body because the body senses what? Infections. And after that, within 1 hour, they saw a reduction in the mycobacterium infection load inside the body. So if you think about it, glutathione is not an anti-infectant, it's not an antibiotic, it's not an anti-inflammatory product. It's nothing. It is nothing. But what it does, it allows your body to work more efficiently. And that to me is more profound than any drug, right? A drug can do your work for you. Do you want a drug to do the work for you, or you want the body to do work for you? Who's better at taking of the problems for you? A
Yeah.
drug or your own body?
Yeah. Our body actually knows what to do, how to get rid of
Yes.
things.
And
It's just
instead of
overloaded.
listening to a body, guess what? We are allowing the drugs, medications to deal with its own problems. And at best, we are getting rid of the symptoms, but we are for sure not even putting a dent in the problem. I don't care about the symptoms. I do care about the problem. And
Yeah.
the problem can be solved from inside out as long as we are not putting the body to the wild goose chase.
hmm We're giving its building blocks, like you mentioned, to
Yeah.
actually work the way it should work.
The way it shouldn't work. I'm oversimplifying this whole issue about medicine, and and I understand that part, but sometimes we have gone so far on the other side, we can make it extremely complicated about every single things that we have to do to fix your body. Even after doing that, guess what? We all are going to die. We all are going to die, right? The issue is not about dying. The issue is about living. And
Yeah. How do you want to live?
how to live a better life, you got to have your body deal with its own problems. The meds are not going to do it for me, right? I'm ashamed to say that I'm not ashamed to say I'm a pharmacist. I'm ashamed to say that I was dealing the drugs earlier in my career and quickly realized that this is not going to solve any problems. We're going to manage people's problems for the rest of their lives. We're not going to solve any problems. The solution lies in empowering your body to help them make it stronger from inside. The glutathione is the only product that actually does that part. Is it a cure all for every single problems out there? Of course not. It's not even close to it. But what it does is nobody else can do it. It is to take away all the job that the body has to do, which doesn't bring any value other than just keeping your body clean. If the glutathione can do that work, now the body's ready to heal, rejuvenate, regenerate, anti-aging, longevity medicine. You can name it. It can deal with this. And we talk about autoimmune conditions. It's all about trying to find what the cause is. And trust me, there's no scans, there's no blood tests that can find out what the actual cause is for you. So instead of trying to figure out a bigger, better machine to figure out what's wrong in your whole body, because there are millions of parts of your body, and there's nothing you can scan every one of them, you can only rely on your body to find its own problems.
Yeah.
Allow it to get rid of all the mundane work. I say, hey, take the garbage out. Hey, you kids take the garbage out, right? Hey, you go clean the restrooms. You do this, you do that, you do the laundry, you do. If all this work is done by somebody, the mother can focus on the bigger things in life, is to how to put the family together, right? That's what this is. The body needs to think about than doing all the chores. The gluten does the chores for you.
I love that. I know you mentioned at the very beginning, you said habits, routines, rituals. So if you can give the audience some ideas of how to really help their body while they're taking this transdermal glutathione, what are some things that they can do to help their bodies while taking the glutathione to work or to start, yeah, to work better?
I try almost 99% of the time eat foods they have no nutritional facts on it, because real food doesn't even have a label to see how much protein, how much carbs is in there. It just comes in a form of a broccoli or a banana or an apple or something like that, right? So if you eat real foods, you're going to be more than likely going to be okay. Most of the time, well, all the time, I just drink water. There's always water bottles next to me at all times, and I just drink plenty, plenty, plenty of water. I'm vegetarian. Uh, I would say 99% of the time. 1% of the time, I do eat fish once in a while. Again, do I need fish ever? No, I do not need at all if I don't have to, right? It's not something that I do eat. Once in a while, I travel so much that sometimes there's no choices available, which is kind of hard nowadays, but maybe 10 years ago it was different. Uh, Sometimes there's only fish available, there's only meats available, and I'll probably choose fish at the time. Other than that, I do not eat any of those other meats. Uh, I do take building blocks like amino acids. So I do take amino acids on a regular basis because you need proteins. Instead of eating proteins, I do amino acids. The body will absorb the amino acids very, very easily. This water bottle is full of amino acids. Is enough to almost 60 to 65 grams of proteins, by the way, in just one drink, right? So that's how much amino acids I have inside. And that really helps me build my own body's muscle mass and everything that body needs to create these things, right? Uh, then I don't have any rituals like Friday night we have to eat this or to go out or whatever, right? Even if we go out, we always pick foods that have salads as an options for us, so that we try to always eat vegetables as much as possible. Uh, yes, so I do have kids, so I do indulge with the kids once in a while, and I do have fun with them, and I do join them once in a while, but it's not like they're asking me to have food with them, right? They can eat that food. I don't restrict them, as I just show them what's a healthy option for them. So yeah, it's hard. It is hard. I was at a wedding recently, and I can see the cocktail hour started, and everybody was pounding on it, and I was just sitting back and just observing all my friends and family. I mean, they'll be living on the heavy side of the stomach, and I see that part that, oh my God, this could have been me. This could have been me if I want to join the party. By the
Mm.
way, I joined the party without drinking alcohol. I had a great time, had fun, just having water, but just to make it a little bit fuzzy water with some lime in there, so people think that I'm also enjoying life. In reality, it was just water. So I think my advice or my hope for people is that let's, as a society, start working towards finding fun and enjoyment in healthier options instead of destroying our body with unhealthy options and calling that as part of having fun.
Thank you for sharing what you do. We didn't get to touch on your book. Do you want to talk about your book?
Yeah. So the book, The Glutathione Revolution, it was written with 12 years of research. I was just cutting all this data. I was so overwhelmed with the response I was getting, and so I wrote the book. And very quickly, the publishers told me, "says Nope, we cannot publish this book because nobody's going to buy this book because this thing is just too much information and people really don't care, right? People don't care. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I won't know how it works. I just know what it works, right?" So instead, the current book, the way it stands right now, is all my stories that I've collected over the 12 years while I was using the product before the launching the product. And it's something where I've helped an autistic child. I was helping my family with diabetes. I was helping racehorses because horses consume so much fumes in the back of a truck when they're traveling, and then they expect them to run a race and come first. That ain't gonna happen, right? So I was detoxing the race horses, and how I helped a really old horse come first in a race. It was just mind-boggling to me, right?
It's
So these are
amazing.
all these different stories, and it just and I know there's always going to be one or two stories that's going to hit you. I said, "Oh my God, that's me, or that's my mom, or that's my dad, or it's my kids, whatever." Right? It's my husband, it's my father, it's my siblings, whatever. It's going to hit you. I said, "Oh my God." And the most powerful thing in life is hope. If you have hope that you're going to get better tomorrow, you'll do whatever it takes today to make sure that you have a tomorrow to see that come to fruition, right? And
That's
so
true.
this book is going to give you tremendous amount of hope that no matter what the conditions are, that you should never ever give up, right? This is one solution. There'll be plenty more solutions in the future. My whole hope is that this book is changing the way people think, and instead of relying on medications to come to rescue with your problems, is what we can do to help our body get healed from inside, because once the body is healed from inside, it's the best doctor, the best medicine than anybody in the world.
I
So
love
get a
that.
book, read a book.
Yes, thank you. And you did give us one story. Even your father showed improvement.
Oh, my father's a whole different story. Oh my goodness. He was my patient number one. He was my patient number one. At the age of 78, he had a mild heart issue. We went to do an angiograph and completely blocked arteries. The doc came out and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's not dead," because it's the whole artery was completely blocked. They put a stent in there. Of course, with the hospital, they give a slew of medications. If you don't go with 30,000 medications in his arsenal, they can't leave the hospital. I said, "No, Dad, you're not taking any of those medications whatsoever." Instead, we put him on glutathione. Uh, from 78, he started taking the product. He was diabetic for almost 35, 40 years of diabetes. 2 years later, he was pounding on sugars one day. I said, what are you doing? I said, "Oh, my sugar is completely normal now, so let me enjoy my life now." And I looked at his blood test and said, "Wow, it's got normal. How did that happen? I have no idea." By the way, all this time he was taking glutathione. I didn't put two and two together until almost 10 years afterwards. 10 years. I did not know what was going on. I had no idea what was going on, right? His diabetes got better. He was walking. He started walking almost 6 miles per day. And then at the age of 84, he comes to me that his hip is bothering him. So his chiropractor told him that he should get a knee replacement surgery done. So I went to the doctors to do an X-ray, and it was completely deformed from 35, 40 years of arthritis. The knees are completely deformed, and the doctor says, "And he has no pain. What the heck?" Right? So they did a double knee replacement at the age of 84. Because my dad says, "Just do both at the same time, because otherwise I'll never do it again." I did both knees same time, and again started walking. 3.5 months. It was a 6 months recovery process. They said, the doctor says you can't do anything for 6 months, because at the age of 84, 85, you can't do knee replacement at both legs. It takes a long time to heal. 3.5 months later, he was traveling the world. 3.5 months. Yeah, he started traveling the world. It's amazing. He was just enjoying life to the fullest extent. Last year, at the age of 88, 89, he was still traveling in India. He was at his beach house over there in India, just enjoying life. Single. My mom passed away 25 plus years ago, so he's single. And he just did everything on his own. He doesn't need any help. Just picks up a bag and just leaves, right? And he goes for 3 or 4 months at a time. Just not just for 2 or 3 days, right? He goes for months and months and months. He'll be gone. He'll take care of his own food, his own lodging, everything. He will take care of his on his own. And then last year, he was just walking down the beach, and then he ate some street foods. He got some diarrhea from it. I said, "Oh, Dad, what the heck you doing?" I said, I know better. I know better." And the diarrhea did not stop for 2 more days. But then in the morning, he fell in the shower. He just broke his skull. Ooh, that was painful. That was painful. He goes to the hospital right away. I said, and I have some neurosurgeons over here that I know them very well. I said, "Hey, my dad fell down," and I said, "Oh my God, what the heck happened? Is he conscious? Is he talking? Is he memories? He said, "Yep, everything seems to be okay." I said, "Okay, don't do anything. Let me arrange something." There was a neurosurgeon that he arranged to go see him in India within 2 hours. Comes to us, say, "Hey, your dad has some internal bleeding going on, but he should be okay if he's because there's no apparent memory loss. There's no cognition issues. There's no blur visions, nothing like that. So the only thing is it's bleeding internally. So hopefully it stops in the next day or two. If everything is okay, next week we will travel to India. So my dad goes, "See, I told you I'll be fine. Don't worry, Dad. Stop eating those foods and just chill, and I'll come pick you up, right?" And he goes, "No, no, don't worry about it. We'll talk tomorrow." Talks to his brothers and his sisters. Everybody puts his phone down and never wakes up again. So
Sorry.
the thing is, from the age of 78 to the age of 89, let me just tell you, he did 13 overseas trips. 13, right? Talking about going to Hawaii, going to Costa Rica, so many national parks in California. He was hiking over there too. Uh, he traveled Australia, New Zealand, India's all every time. We are placed in Africa, so he went to Zambia, Nairobi over there. I mean, he traveled the world, walking 6 miles per day. At the age of 78, with a person with infarction in the heart, with a complete artery block, with diabetes and arthritis for 35 years, was he living his life? Or was he just merely surviving? Right? He was surviving. And from 78 to 89, he lived his life. Right? And that's the thing I'm telling people is your body can change. The body can heal. The body can rejuvenate. The body will regenerate. Can you please get rid of all the junks out of your body in your life? If you can do that, the body will respond and try to make it better for itself. And when the body makes it better, you get to enjoy the perfect body,
Yeah.
right? That's
You gave your dad a gift.
he gave me a gift. He showed me how to live a life.
Yeah, he did. He did. And well, this is the best question. I've got to save it for last. So, how do we get the transdermal glutathione?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that people understand that this has changed not just my life, my patients' lives, my family life, and everybody that's come across, right? I don't go to any event when people recognizes me. I said, "Oh my God, I love your magic spray." Right? That's the one. They call it magic because even I do not know what's going to happen to you when you start using for the first time, because the body works in such a mysterious way. So please, if you are if you're 30 and above, because your body is going to be having this discrepancy, give it a shot for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You will not be disappointed. Aurowellness.com, AURO is my website. Uh, I sell through doctors' offices, some pharmacies, and mostly through my website. So please pick one up, try it out. And again, for me, this was something very, very different because when I talk about antioxidant benefits for the body from inside, your skin is an organ that is exposed to the outside, and the thing is, you can see it if something's wrong with you. So I create a whole skincare line as well to help the skin from outside with all this antioxidant. And for outside, I combine with everything. I combine with vitamin C, DMAE, CoQ10, carnosine, resveratrol, cycloestrogenol, all those different products that I know that are amazing for your skin health. I put it in this system with 2 serums and 2 creams in the whole system for one day. Boom. That can be the only regimen you'll ever need for your skin health.
Oh, so
So
I could look 20 again.
well, I can assure you'll feel like 20 again. That's for sure. I'm 54 right now, and I feel amazing. I absolutely feel amazing right now.
Yeah. I mean, you look great, and I can tell by your energy, you feel great too. So I appreciate the stories, your analogies, the time you've given for this interview, but also the time you put into defining after 140 years. You said nobody really understood how to get glutathione intracellularly. So you were able to do that and give hope to people. So I appreciate the time, and we look forward to reading the book and trying your product.
Thank you so much.
So I will stop.